Hello. In this lecture, we want to have a detailed discussion on pie charts. Pie charts are controversial and they need to be used with caution. That's why in this lecture, we want to talk about different opinions that visualization experts have about using pie charts, criticisms of pie charts, how pie charts are different from bar charts, when to use pie charts, and what pie charts have to offer to visualization designers. The reason we talk a lot about pie charts and bar charts is that pie charts and bar charts are everywhere. Books, brochures, presentations, websites, newspapers, magazines, and even TV shows.
This is a pie chart describing my favorite bars. And this is a bar graph describing my favorite pies.
Just to refresh your mind, pie charts use angle, arc length, and area as their pre-attentive attributes to show comparisons. But they could be problematic as it is difficult to make precise quantitative comparisons using angle, arc length, and area. Unless we only have a small number of categories and we just want to communicate part-to-whole relationships, using pie charts is typically not recommended. A bar chart, on the other hand, is great for making quantitative comparisons. Since bar charts use height or length as their pre-attentive attribute, they are great for precise quantitative comparisons between different categories. Pie charts have opponents and proponents. The people shown on the left side are strong opponents of pie charts, and the people shown on the right are proponents of pie charts, or at least they don't hate pie charts and sometimes they use them. Some of these people are high-profile data visualization figures. For example, Edward Tufte is considered the father of modern data visualization, and Stephen Few is one of the leading authorities in the field of data visualization. Now let's go over the opinions of the opponents of pie charts from the least harsh to the harshest. Jeffrey Schaefer, one of the authors of the Big Book of Dashboards, says, "I do not recommend using pie charts." And somewhere else he says, "We must resist the temptation to use these purely decorative charts." Jeffrey and his co-authors use a screaming cat icon to say that we should avoid using pie charts. So according to them, a pie chart is a type of chart that a cat would scream at. Stephen Few says we should not use pie charts and we should save them for dessert. He actually has an article that has this picture on it, and the title of the article says, "Save the pies for dessert." Or save them for a pie attack. Just kidding. Edward Tufte takes a harsher position on pie charts. He says the only thing worse than a pie chart is several of them, and he calls pie charts the worst chart in the world. A chart that should never be used. Cole Knaflick actually takes it to the next level and says death to pie charts. Some other visualization experts say pie charts are evil. Here is what the proponents say about pie charts. Bruce Gabriel says they, meaning Edward Tufte, Stephen Few, and Cole Knaflick, are all wrong. Pie charts deserve your respect. Robert Kosara says understanding pie charts and how to use them isn't that difficult, and the research shows that they are often not a bad choice. Jill Raviv says the pie chart is a fascinating visual. Its circular shape can fixate our attention. He also says sometimes the use of pie charts is preferred over the use of bar charts. And Jeffrey Clark says, "I disagree that pie charts should never be used. Pie charts are best at visually illustrating the proportion of a part in relation to the whole. They are the visual analog of the mathematical concept of percent. You might ask, what is my take on pie charts? I actually side with this group. I do think that pie charts have their place in modern data visualization and even excel in certain areas, but they need to be used with caution. I personally think that there is no reason to have hardline stances on pie charts. I think they work if we use them the right way. I am also pleased to inform you that Cole Knaflick softened her stance on pie charts a little bit. She says, quote unquote, I still don't use them, but this shouldn't imply that they have no place. The first and main reason pie charts are the target of hatred is that they are everywhere, from TV news to web visualizations and economic newspapers. For many people, they are the by default choice or at least an easy-to-go solution for visualizing multiple categories. Pie charts are one of the most frequently used visualization and perhaps the most overly used type of chart. The popularity of them, as we discussed, is probably due to their circular shape, which makes them pleasing to look at. No matter how many other visualizations are displayed in a report or a dashboard, there is a good chance that we will first stare at the pie chart. Second, since pie charts are overly used and they are pleasing to look at, they are often misused. And we will go over several cases where pie charts are misused in another lecture. Third, the misuse of pie charts has led to an epidemic of their abuse that must be curbed. We will see examples of pie chart abuse also in another lecture. Here are some fair criticisms of pie charts. Humans cannot precisely compare angles and areas of slices, and there is no common baseline like we have in bar charts. It is hard to compare the sizes of two different slices unless they are next to each other, and sometimes it is still hard when they are next to each other. Pie charts are good for comparing part-to-whole relationships, but most of the time we are interested in between-part relationships. Even part-to-whole relationships can be hard when the orientation of slices is not aligned with a horizontal or vertical axis. Look at these three pies, for example. What percentage of the whole does the blue slice represent? It's easy to tell for this pie chart, but it is hard to say for these two. So, orientation of slices matter. And here are more criticisms. When there are more than 7 slices, it is very difficult to judge the size of the small slices. Pie charts are not as space efficient as bar charts, as you can see here. And pie charts can easily distort the data. Notice how this slice looks bigger than this one despite having a smaller value associated with it. The proponents of pie charts all think that the most common problem with pie charts is trying to show too many categories in a single pie chart. So we should limit the number of slices in a pie chart if we want it to be effective. Some visualization experts say we should limit the number of slices to 7. Some say we should limit it to 6, some say 5, some say 4, some say 3, and some say we should just be using 2 slices in order for pie charts to be effective. My personal rule of thumb is to use pie charts for data with 2 categories, since that is the scenario in which pie charts really shine. But of course, it is not the end of the world if we use them for 3 or 4 categories, but we should never go higher than 7 categories. One of the reasons that I'm pro pie charts and I think we should limit the number of slices is the interesting results from a pie chart survey that was given to a large group of mostly technical and analytical participants. 574 people were asked this question. What is your preference of chart when we have two categories? Would you prefer a pie chart with two slices or a bar chart with two bars? The participants comprised 30 executives, 53 division directors, 102 managers, 118 software architects, and 271 data analysts. About 55% of the participants preferred the pie chart over the bar chart when there were two slices or categories in the pie chart. I suspect that the support for pie chart will be even stronger if there are more non-analyst or non-technical participants. Remember that a lot of times our audience consists of non-technical people, and many times they are the dominant group. I think the fact that more respondents prefer two slice pie charts over bar charts with two bars can be attributed to: number one, the circular shape of pie charts is great for expressing proportions of a whole. Circle provides a visual concept of the whole or the entirety of something. We kind of read pie charts like we read a watch face, and that makes them efficient. We do not need training when we want to read pie charts. Number two, pie charts are the visual analog of the mathematical concept of percentage. Some teachers use slices of a pie or a pizza for teaching the concept of percentage to a kid. So pie charts and the best way to read them are kinda in our blood. Pie charts tap into our instinctive ability to assess proportions when we look at things. As a result, they are great for communicating proportions. Number three, pie charts are round and our visual system likes round things better than sharp things. Research has shown that human beings are obsessed with circles. It has been shown that our brains pay more attention to smooth and rounded objects. Number four, I think pie charts are less boring than bar charts. They seem to be more engaging than bar charts. Perhaps pie charts can appeal the audience emotionally more than bar charts can. I need to mention that these four reasons are not mutually exclusive. Also, please take these statements and reasons with a grain of salt. Okay, let's go back to the survey. While pie charts won the first battle, they eventually lost the war to bar charts. The support for pie charts decreased in subsequent questions in the survey. In question 2, with only 4 categories in the data, only 16% of the respondents preferred the 4-slice pie chart over a bar chart with 4 bars. And in question 3, with 8 categories, only 6% preferred the 8-slice pie chart and 93% favored bar charts. The use cases of pie charts are limited, as you can see in this pie chart, which illustrates the usability of pie charts. Yes, we are using a pie chart to show that pie charts have limited use cases. Only the blue slice, which is very tiny, represents cases where the pie chart is actually the preferred chart. The orange slice represents scenarios where pie charts are okay, but there might be better alternatives. And in all other scenarios, pie charts are considered bad. The best use case for a pie chart is for binary data that is part of a whole, meaning only 2 values make up our pie chart and those values add up to 100% in a meaningful way. There are tons of examples such as male-female breakdown of undergraduate admissions, symptomatic and asymptomatic COVID-19 patients, yes/no responses in a survey, students who graduated high school on time versus those who didn't graduate high school on time, adults who live in single-family homes versus adults who live in other housing types, and many other examples. Second, if we have 3 to 7 categories, pie charts would be okay to use. although likely there are better chart types than pie charts. Let me show you what I mean by that. We asked 100 pet holders about the type of pet that they have, and we visualized the three categories of responses. This pie chart represents the responses. This pie chart is a good one. It has more than 2 slices, but because we have significantly different values, as you can see, and one of them is exactly 50%, this one is considered a very good pie chart. I can argue that the pie chart here is better than the bar chart counterpart because we can see the 50% proportion for dogs right away. Furthermore, we can see that cats and other pets combined form another 50%. This is something that we cannot quickly find from the bar chart. We asked another group of pet holders about the type of pet that they have, and we visualized the three categories of responses again. This pie chart is okay, but in this case, the bar chart is better. The bar for dogs and cats are exactly equal, and we can see that right away. Whereas on the pie chart, we cannot easily find that the slices for dogs and cats have the same size unless we read the labels, which is a slow process. Also, on the pie chart, we cannot easily see that the slice for other pets is smaller than that for cats and dogs. But on the bar chart, we can easily recognize that. With these two examples, I showed you that even with 3 slices, pie charts may lose the battle against bar charts. And that is why most of the time I try not to use more than 2 slices on pie charts. Now let's go over different scenarios where pie charts can be useful. Number 1, for part-to-whole relationship, when we have 2 categories, nothing can beat pie charts. This is the main application of pie charts. And here is a perfect example. The part-to-whole ratio here is 25%, and we can quickly notice that. Even if the percentage were a less friendly number, like 29%, a pie chart would still be the best option here. Number 2, for emphasizing to the audience that one of the categories is standing out and wanting them to pay attention to that. And here is an example. Notice how we strategically added labels with different font size, and also we used a catchy title to tell our story. Note that a bar chart can also be used for emphasizing that one category is larger than all other categories and to grab the audience's attention, but bar charts would not be able to show part-to-whole relationship. The second application is considered a minor application of pie charts. Number 3, there are cases for combined comparison where with the help of pie charts we can combine neighboring slices and compare those to the whole or other slices. For example, combine A and B against C, or combine A and B against combined C and D, or combine A, B, and C against the whole. Combining neighboring categories is easier with pie charts comparing to bar charts. This is also another minor application of pie charts. Number 4, pie charts can be useful on a symbol map to show part-to-whole relationships within different regions. This is because there is no easy way to present multiple bar charts on a map where there is no common baseline for making comparisons. As a reminder, symbol maps are maps that use symbols such as circles to encode data in different geographical regions. This is yet another minor application of pie charts. Number 5, due to their resemblance to a clock, pie charts can be used to encode hourly values. It could be quantitative values or categorical values, and the values can be represented in 12-hour or 24-hour clock format. For example, this pie chart visualizes the number of violent incidents in Santa Clara County in each hour of the day. the way we look at it is kind of similar to how we read from and think about progression of time on a clock. We can easily see that between the hours of 2 p.m. and 3 p.m., the number of incidents is higher than any other hour. In fact, this pie chart is a custom chart between a pie chart and a heat map, but I would argue that this does a better job than a heat map table. In some sense, it does a better job than a bar chart too, but in some other sense, a bar chart is better. And we can have scheduled pie charts like these three, where the color encode different categories. I think for these custom pie charts, we can actually relax the requirements about the number of slices a little bit. These pie charts are very specific and are considered a minor application of pie charts. We can come up with similar innovative pie charts whenever we are visualizing something that involves hourly values or time of day values. To summarize this lecture, pie charts are useful in situations where proportionality is key. Pie charts have been overused, misused, and abused. The hate of pie charts harms good data visualization. Overall, bar charts are better than pie charts. Most criticisms of pie charts are fair. But despite all the criticisms, pie charts can still be a great tool when used properly, although a set of strict rules need to be followed when designing pie charts. And lastly, the use cases for pie charts are limited. Okay, thanks for listening. I will see you soon.